Hello, and it is Tuesday, January 26, 2021. I'm going to do a short video on Roman Saturnalia and its connection to our contemporary. So we have basically a continuation of what would appear to be Roman Saturnalia in our contemporary. This is what the movie The Purge is based off of a bit. This is kind of a Anyway, it's a festival in which it's a 7-day long festival going from the January 17th to January 20. My mistake. December 17th to December 23rd. And one thing to note is that it kind of seems like it seems familiar to what they're doing now, in that they kind of are the elites seem to be setting people against one another with a divide and conquer. And they still have continued the old economic model to a certain extent. So there is no debt jubilee, so keep that in mind. So we'll get onto that topic later. But for now, we'll talk about we have a king of Roman Saturnalia Festival, and he was the peasant. Well, first, let me give an overview. During Roman Saturnalia, there was a period of lawlessness in which the courts were closed. And there was partying and gift giving and things like that. So it's has some similar attributes to Christmas a little bit, and it's at the same time of year as Christmas. And due to religious syncretism, they kind of made Christmas at a similar time of year. So this way, it made it easier to convert the Romans. And so the and Saturn's kind of like another word for Satan too, as well. So one way of looking at this is that it's kind of like a festival in which they kind of try to get the number of the plebeians down and try to have them sort out their grievances as well. Even though it's not really stated in any history book, you can kind of have it implied that that's kind of what was going on, because you see what happened was you can find this in other history books, but for the king of Roman Saturnalia Festival, they've selected a peasant or a convict. The peasant or convict had some authority during the festival and was later executed after the end of the festival. And so that's one way of looking at it. And the other way of looking at it is that there were no debt jubilees for the plebeians typically. So what better period of time to have the plebs sort out their differences than a period of time in which there's a lawlessness? And the other way of looking at it is that the patricians could afford, bodyguards and things like that and stay on their property. And so they didn't need to worry about, the plebs coming to attack them at all, most likely. So that's kind of one way of looking at it, is that's one way of keeping the plebs down and having them fight among themselves while the patricians reign supreme. That's one way of looking at it. And so in many ways, we have an ongoing Saturnalia Festival going on now, in which we have some people who are allowed to have debt forgiveness in our contemporary, and then some that are not. And so and then they also are dividing and conquering us with various mind control techniques to get the plebs to fight among themselves. And so that's one way of looking at it, that what happened back then is still continuing now and is ongoing, because we're in right now a period of lawlessness in which they have, it's not really lawlessness, but it's more like it's laws selectively enforced for a select few, but they also are letting prisoners free now. They're closing prisons. You get imprisoned in your house instead. And so we have that kind of thing going. And so this is just one kind of way of looking at the Roman Saturnalia Festival, in that the Romans, from what I'm aware of, did not have debt jubilees. So kind of, and we, so it kind of makes, it kind of seems that that's kind of like what would go down during this festival, is that you would have the plebs, you could, whatever sort of animosities they have between one another, they could duke them out during Roman Saturnalia, because it was a period of lawlessness. So it kind of, would help keep them in their position. So we have that aspect to it. And so, it kind of seems like a class thing. And then if I think if there's any other notes, is that so that's kind of it for now. We have that kind of going on in our contemporary a bit. And so I'll just cut this video off and have a good day.